Why do their engines outlast modern cars? Because they mastered the small things that most drivers ignore. Cuban mechanics kept 1950s American engines running for decades without parts or replacements. Their first rule: check the breathing before you blame the machine. A neglected airflow path can quietly steal up to 30% of your engine's power, and the fix begins with something you've probably never thought to touch. When a vintage sedan in Havana started to sputter, the old-timers didn't assume the block was cracked or the cylinders were dead. They knew that before you spend thousands of dollars on a major rebuild, you must look at how the machine breathes. In Cuba, treating these small mechanical details was a matter of survival for the vehicle. Many high-mileage engines that feel sluggish, rough, or completely tired aren't actually dying. They are simply being starved, choked, or confused. A simple lack of basic air causes this drop in performance, not some catastrophic internal failure. If your engine has lost its snap, the first step in this survival philosophy is the absolute simplest. Inside the intake box sits a paper barrier that stands between the dusty road and your engine's combustion chambers. Over a standard driving window of 12,000 to 15,000 miles, this clean paper turns into a dark, compacted wall of dirt and highway debris, restricting the engine's ability to pull in oxygen. Swapping in a fresh filter costs only about $10 to $30, but it immediately opens up the windpipe. Doing this simple maintenance restores the exact breathing your engine needs to run smoothly again. Before we discuss complex electronics, fuel chemistry, or internal carbon, we have to let the machine breathe. The air filter is just the front gate. Past that barrier, the air flows across a tiny, delicate wire inside the mass airflow sensor. This sensor tells the engine's computer exactly how much air is coming in, allowing it to calculate the perfect mix of fuel. But oil vapors and road dust coat this wire over 12 to 15,000 miles, sending a scrambled signal to the computer. Instead of a balanced burn, your engine gets confused, resulting in a lazy throttle and a rough idle. Fixing this does not require a trip to the shop or a $100 replacement. An $8 to $20 can of dedicated mass airflow sensor cleaner restores the signal. Cuban mechanics learned long ago to read these subtle shifts. Long before modern scan tools existed, they could hear the slight drop in engine pitch and feel the uneven vibration through the steering wheel. Follow that air path a bit further, and you reach the throttle body. By 30,000 miles, sticky carbon deposits accumulate around the butterfly valve, choking the air supply at idle. A quick, inexpensive cleaning with a soft rag and throttle spray frees up the valve, instantly sharpening your acceleration and stabilizing your idle. Even the tiniest unsealed gap in this intake line, a cracked hose or a loose clamp, lets in unmetered air, throwing off the fuel trims. Sealing these air leaks and cleaning the sensors restores the steady, quiet purr of a healthy engine. A clean airway only does half the job if the fuel arriving to meet it is poorly prepared. To get that perfect, effortless fire inside the cylinder, gasoline must enter as a fine, microscopic mist. When fuel injectors get dirty, they stop spraying a fine mist and start squirt dripping like a clogged garden hose. This ruins the fuel droplet distribution, leaving wet pockets of unburnt gasoline that cause sluggish throttle response and random misfires under load. In Cuba, where fuel quality was always an unpredictable gamble, we paid attention to the injectors long before the engine began to openly complain. If your modern daily driver starts feeling flat and unresponsive, a professional injector cleaning and flow test becomes a highly justified step around the 30,000-mile mark. A full professional service typically runs between $80 and $250, but it physically restores the exact microscopic spray pattern the factory intended. You can avoid that shop bill by building a simple preventive habit. Running top-tier gasoline provides a stronger detergent baseline that controls carbon deposits before they ever get a foothold. For a few extra dollars, adding a reputable treatment like Techron or a bottle of Seafoam every 3,000 miles keeps those delicate nozzles clear. These $8 to $25 bottles are not overnight miracle cures for a dead injector, but as regular preventive care, they ensure the fuel atomizes cleanly. When that spray pattern stays sharp, the combustion remains smooth, and the crisp, immediate throttle response you thought was gone forever suddenly returns. Modern direct injection engines hide a stubborn secret behind their high efficiency. In these systems, gasoline is sprayed directly into the combustion chamber, completely bypassing the intake valves. This design choice means the valves never benefit from the washing effect of fuel. Over 30,000 to 50,000 miles, oil vapors and airborne soot bake onto the hot metal, forming a thick, crusty layer of carbon. When this heavy buildup chokes the valves, simple chemical sprays and pour-in additives in the gas tank cannot wash it away. The carbon is simply too hard, and the fuel never touches it anyway. This stubborn barrier flatlines your engine's power, causing severe hesitation and a rough idle even after you have addressed the air filter and fuel lines. To clear this bottleneck, you have to look beyond cheap driveway remedies. The standard solution is walnut blasting, directing crushed walnut shells under compressed air to abrade the carbon without damaging the metal. While DIY tools can be sourced for under $200, shop pricing for this procedure typically runs from $200 to $600. This is where the limits of cheap fixes are reached, requiring specialized tools and experienced hands to safely restore the engine's original breath. Even the cleanest air path cannot save a machine from neglected ignition and tired oil. To protect lubrication, follow your owner's manual for oil intervals rather than outdated universal rules. When the fire inside the cylinder grows weak, worn spark plugs costing $10 to $60 make a sound engine feel completely dead. Weak ignition coils, running $50 to $200 each, slowly steal smoothness and efficiency long before they outright fail. Swapping these neglected components can bring back up to 30% of lost power. But there is a point where simple tricks end and real mechanical risk begins. Tired rubber intake hoses and cracked timing belts demand immediate replacement, not a quick spray. When a scan tool reveals pending codes or a compression check shows leaking valves, you have reached the limit of driveway remedies. Cuban mechanics survived on resourcefulness, but they thrived because they knew when to clean and when to respect the limits of the metal. Before you assume an engine is worn out, look at the humblest seal of all. Cuban mechanics always check the smallest details first, knowing a tiny leak can mimic a catastrophic failure. Take the positive crankcase ventilation, or PCV valve. For $10 to $40, replacing this tiny plastic part stops crankcase pressure from building up and forcing engine oil through your seals. Then there is your gas cap. A hardened, cracked seal here lets fuel vapors escape, triggering your check engine light. Instead of replacing the cap, clean the filler neck and rubber gasket with WD-40. Consult your manual to ensure you are using the correct vented or non-vented type, and apply a thin coat of silicone grease to the gasket annually. It keeps the rubber flexible and seals the system perfectly. In a disposable world, keeping a machine alive is a quiet act of defiance. Your engine doesn't need a costly replacement. It just demands your patience and respect. Listen to it, and it will carry you anywhere. How do you keep your engine running? Share your tricks below.